It's Black History Month. Woo! Cue the music. Hey. Say it loud. Cue the music. Oh. Say it loud. Hey, teacher friends. Welcome back to Sutton Teaches Secondary. I'm Miss Sutton, but you can call me MarQuitta. And here we talk about teaching strategies for those high need schools. We plan for our ELA classrooms, and we just talk about teacher life. So you know what time it is. I'm wearing my Africa sweater to get us started because it is February. Yes, it is Black History Month. What? Not as if we don't celebrate Black History every month, because I'm Black every month. But it is a special time of year, and I would be remiss if I did not make a video about this wonderful, wonderful time of year. Seriously though, we gotta talk because, you know, I wouldn't be a good teacher friend if I didn't tell you that, you know, maybe you're doing a little bit of this Black History Month wrong. Okay, maybe not a little, maybe a lot. Okay, so we got work on it. Now, don't get me wrong. If you celebrate Black History Month at your school and with your students, whether your students are Black or not, then you are already doing a great job. But it's 2021. We are doing better. So I'm lumping myself in that group. There are some things that we can do better this year. And so I'm here to share them with you. I also want to make a disclaimer. These are my opinions. Please don't come for me. These are my opinions. I am no somehow end all be all say all around this topic. Yes, I am a Black woman, so I happen to have a bit of experience in the area. But my opinions do not represent those of every Black person everywhere, especially they do not represent all the Black teachers that are doing wonderful, amazing things. But my opinions, you know, I got something to say. So let's say it. Here's the thing. I feel like normally when Black History Month comes, especially with like younger grades and things like that, there's always this like rundown of, did you know this about this Black person? Did you know this about this Black person? They're important because they invented the stoplight. And it's just kind of like a rundown of random facts throughout the month about famous Black people or famous Black historical figures. So a way you can kind of put a little flip or a spin on this and make it better is, instead of you giving the facts and giving the rundown or telling students about these things as far as a historical person in Black history, have them do the research. And not for nothing, have them do the research and then create some fun way to present it. So whether they each create a slide and then one day out the week you highlight someone's slide that talks about another famous Black figure, you can also have them create a video announcement for it, and then every day play one 30-second video that each student has curated and done the research for and presented about a famous Black person. I also charge you to have the students talk about what qualities that person possessed in order to do that great thing, and then how that affects them or how they feel moved by that. Have them make this personal. What have they learned from this person, and how do they want to use that in their life? I would definitely push you to have them do that. Oftentimes, too, when we are doing stuff for Black History Month, I feel like teachers, sometimes we kind of work on our own little island. And this isn't just for Black History Month. This is for things all the time. We do a lot of the work on our own, and we kind of come up with these amazing plans, but nobody else knows about them. And that brings me to my second point, which is don't do the work alone this year. Pull other people in. Have people do something with you. So story time, quick story. I'll be brief. So my first year of teaching, I taught first grade. Oh, my little babies, I miss them. So in teaching first grade, I just felt it was very important for us to do something for Black History Month. And so very early, so beginning of January, as soon as we came back from winter break, I started working on my Black History Month plans. I originally planned on doing something just for my classroom, but because I co-planned with a teacher, I let her in on the plans I was doing, and she was like, whoa, that's really dope. And this teacher was not a Black woman like me. She was another teacher, however, and she was like, whoa, that's really dope. Like, I want to do that too. So then her first grade classroom started doing it. And then because she was next door to other second grade classrooms, she told them like, hey, this is what we're doing. And then it kind of spread and it became a whole program that we put on for the primary grade. So first, second, and third graders. which turned out to be really cool. And everyone did something within their capacity, right? So like the first graders did things that the first graders could do, and then so on and so forth for second and third grade. And it turned out awesome. It ended up being a whole program that just kind of happened organically, but it really impressed upon me the importance of not staying in my little island when it comes to doing things that are important, not just for my classroom, but for the school. Think about it, y'all. Black History Month is a time to celebrate culture for Black people, but also understanding that our culture influences everyone. And so we don't want to go small, right? Like we want to ensure that everyone has a chance to participate and everyone has a chance to come in and really be a part of it. So I strongly encourage you, think about ways that you can bring other people in. Can you do something department-wide? Can you do something where you're combining with a history class, or, you know, something that's all for your grade level, or maybe those announcements that you are going to create, that you're going to have your students do those videos or those slideshows. Can you share them with the school and then they become school-wide announcements? I'm sure there's a way that you can incorporate this and have everyone join in the celebration. Now, so far, all the things that we've talked about have really been teacher-centered, right? Like we come up with the idea and then we're like, students, you fulfill this idea. And that leads me to my third point. Instead of being teacher-centered with our celebration and how we're going to do things, talk to the students. Students have really great ideas and they have just as much leadership ability and all kinds of things that we just are not always tapping into. And so I strongly suggest that you talk to the students about it. And please do not curate a group of only Black students, right? Because this is not a celebration for just Black students. This is for all students. Or even if you teach at a school where you don't teach Black students, ask as many that you think would be leaders and would be great. What should we do this month to celebrate Black culture? And you'd be surprised with what you get. Now, I'll share with you one of the things that the students from our school came up with, and that is a campaign to have students change their Zoom pictures to the pictures of historically Black figures. So prominent Black figures, instead of having your normal picture or whatever random picture that you chose for your Zoom screen for the month of February, choose someone cool that is also Black that you find inspirational. And I thought that was really cool. And I tell you, I wouldn't have thought of it. I honestly did not think of it. And it's something really simple, but also impactful and very cool. And when you see those pictures, it gives a bit more into their personality. It becomes a conversation, all of those things. So why not do that, right? But I would not have thought of this idea of changing my Zoom picture had we not talked to the kids about things to do to celebrate Black History Month. And I will tell you, the group of students that I was having a conversation with, none of them were Black. These were all non-Black students having this conversation and coming up with these suggestions. And I was very excited and impressed. Now, last but not least, if I could shout this from the rooftops, I would. Don't use Black History Month as a time to just talk about the struggle of Black people. Now, has it been a struggle? Yes. Does it continue to be a struggle? Absolutely. But so much of the conversation in schools, especially around Black people, is rooted often in the struggle of Black people. You think about a lot of students, if you ask them to name historical figures that are Black, most of the time you're going to get Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther King. If they're really revolutionary, maybe they know a Malcolm X, right? Like that's going to be the rundown. Frederick Douglass, all things that are rooted within the struggle. I've seen students get civil rights movement and abolition confused, like an abolitionist and a civil rights leader confused, because so much of it connects to this idea of freedom and a struggle and pushing through and all of those things, or coming from nothing and becoming something, because that's so much of what like the rhetoric of America. However, one of the most revolutionary things you can do is just tell a story about Black people, or enjoy a story or a moment or something that just celebrates Black culture for what it is. So for example, I love teaching Their Eyes Are Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston. Why? Because this woman, before she was a writer, was an anthropologist, and she loved her some Black culture. And so when you read that book, it's so rich in the language of Black people, in our interactions, and just it follows the love story of this woman who's just beautiful in a town that was created by Black people, flourishing by Black people, like Black owned businesses, all of these things that sometimes we don't necessarily get when we talk about Black people in the classroom. So I strongly push you and suggest find something that you can do or talk about or read or explore that just celebrates Black culture, right? Even if it means that you're doing analysis of a song. So I'm not saying that the struggle can't be a part of the conversation, because it definitely is. It most certainly is. I'm just saying, make sure you check the way you frame it, and make sure that you are not using this time just for that. Add some of the celebration in there too. Friends, it wasn't all that bad, right? I ripped the Band-Aid, but it was cool. I hope you found this helpful. I am looking forward to a fabulous February. I will be rocking all of the gear. Yes, celebrating us and our culture and all that is wonderful. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you subscribe, and then continue the conversation, y'all, in the comments. Tell me, what are you guys doing at your school? I love to get ideas. What are you doing in your classrooms? Are there books that you're reading or texts that you're reading that, we could tap into? I'm excited. I hope you're excited. Tell me how excited you are in the chat. Tell me how excited you are. And of course, you are amazing. And I will see you next time. Bye.